Grieving does not start immediately as soon as someone dies. Grieving starts after the funeral ends, after people stop checking up on you. And even then, it doesn't begin right after the funeral. I think that shock is what truly begins, and shock can last a lot longer than we think it can. When someone you love passes away, it's really hard for your brain to comprehend the loss and death of someone that was so important to you. Just based on my personal experience, I truly believe the first year or majority of the first year was shock. Definitely the first 6 months or so. Lots of people tend to think that after the funeral, things go back to normal, and that's just not true. Grieving lasts forever. It's easy to say that life doesn't stop for anyone, but when you really sit in that reality, when the grief isn't as fresh anymore, and don't get me wrong, 2 years is still a short amount of time, but when the grief isn't as fresh as a couple of months, and life really hits you, that's when a different layer of grief happens. And throughout your grief, you will grieve different things about the loss of a person. It's not even about death anymore at this point. It's about the loss of the person and their presence and their physical presence and experiences without them. So grief does not end after the funeral ends. That's when it begins for most people.